Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another speculation video because lately I've been thinking about something that happened earlier this year with The Sims' official TikTok page. They were replying to certain comments in an interesting way. We'll start off with this one: bring back stuff packs, we don't need more kits. And The Sims replied with an eyes emoji. So this is an old screenshot, it's not actually from 2 hours ago. This was back from May 12th, because I did go back to the TikTok that had this comment on it. Interestingly enough, their reply is deleted now. But yeah, interesting that they did that sort of eyes emoji, which is the same thing Simgers have done several times in the past to sort of like sneakily hint at stuff. And I did a whole video about that, wondering, hey, wait, do stuff packs have a chance of coming back after all? And sure enough, they recently did with Home Chef Hustle. Also, after the Behind the Sims livestream was announced for the end of January, but before that livestream actually aired, they were also hinting at some information about a Generations like pack and Better Babies, which was teased in the Behind the Sims summit from last year, but we had yet to know a whole lot of concrete details. We're again replying with the eyes emoji. Now we have Growing Together and the Infants update, so both of those have come true. But also, on the same day that Behind the Sims livestream aired on January 30th, they were replying to comments about horses with eyes emojis and horse emojis. So that's quite interesting. I wasn't sure at the time as to whether that would really mean we would get horses, but either way, we did end up getting horses about half a year later. But here's where things get even more interesting, because they also replied to a comment asking for horses, fairies, and customizable apartments. Apologies, the comments are a little out of order here because I got this one out of the notifications on my account because they did reply to me, but they first did say fairies, horses, and cars. Oh my, with the emojis. The person wasn't even asking about cars in the first place. But yeah, kind of interesting considering, yes, we now do have the horses, but we don't have fairies or cars. They're both pretty highly requested nowadays. So I think the likelihood of these two also coming to the game has gone up even higher. I did say, okay, I think The Sims is just trolling us now. And they did reply to me saying, this is true, real talk, I can give away nothing, but I'm questioning now, how real is that talk? Because it just seems too freaky of a coincidence for you to reply to certain comments with emojis of things that have ended up coming true this year. Even stuff packs, which seems so far-fetched for them to ever return after so long, even with that other hiatus they went on between My First Pet stuff and Moschino. That wasn't nearly as long. So yeah, I'm sure the TikTok person for The Sims knows stuff in advance. Maybe, I don't know. I guess it depends on whether they're like contracted or they actually are like an internal EA employee. But I imagine they would know stuff. I figured it would be maybe like a few weeks in advance, but I don't know, maybe this could even be the same person that runs a lot of their marketing stuff. So yeah, it is confusing, but maybe they do know stuff long enough in advance where they're like, haha, I'll just sneakily hint at things with eyes emojis, since that technically won't break the non-disclosure agreement because it can be interpreted different ways. It could be just a coincidence, or it could be me, you know, knowing things with a knowing smile. But it's actually not completely giving away because they're not outright saying, hey, yeah, expect horses later this year. However, I don't think that comment means that fairies and cars are both coming by the end of this year, because there isn't that much time left, and the only pack we have left for 2023 is this Neighborly expansion pack, which does not sound like fairies at all, so I don't think we're getting them until at least next year. But maybe cars still have a chance. It really just depends on where the theme is going, but if it does expand a lot on the neighborhoods, maybe cars could tie into that, where they would be in the free update before the expansion pack comes out, and then the pack would give us a few more options, maybe even something like motorcycles and Vespas, like some other kind of like vehicle types that would work very similarly to cars. Also, with the theme of this roadmap being hustle and bustle, a phrase that is often used when talking about the city, we're probably getting a new city world with the expansion pack, so it would make sense for cars to go along with that. Now, I hope they'll also update the graphics of the decorative cars you just see driving around many of the worlds in this game, because, I don't know, I just feel like their proportions look a little chunky and blocky. You can't even see through the windshield or the windows at all. So I hope that then they could be updated to look consistent with whatever playable cars that we would get for our Sims. Talking more about Fairies though, it is worth noting that we did not get a single game pack this year, and since occults tend to be their own game pack, I think then there is a possibility that we'll go back to only one expansion pack next year, especially since we're getting 3 this year. But then to make up for that, we'll have 2 game packs like we did last year. So then I think that increases the chances of Fairies coming next year, because then one game pack could be, well, just about anything really. Maybe one could be hotels, and then the other one could be Fairies around fall time. So while that overall does sound like very slow pacing for the whole year, considering The Sims 4 will be turning 10 next year, I think that could still end up happening. Oh, I almost forgot one other thing. You may remember in 2020 when there was that whole Batu controversy going on, that they put out an open statement to us because people were understandably very angry. I actually had to go back to my video about this because it seems that it's deleted. It's no longer on EA's website, which, well, yeah, I'm sure they're ashamed of that. 2020 did not treat them that well. But there are a couple of parts I want to bring up. So they talk about upcoming content and how they have to consider what it will take to update it meaningfully, that it's just as true for babies as it would be for cars, bunk beds, or any number of feature requests, and that there's foundational technology they need to work through, and sometimes need to dig into designs more deeply to understand what we expect. This work does take time, and they don't update us on these projects until they become more real, and especially with the state of them working from home at the time, that it can be a really long process with game development. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if they're still working from home now. They probably aren't, but I don't know for sure. But there is one other interesting part. So they said in just a matter of weeks we'll be sharing more about our next expansion pack, which turned out to be Snowy Escape, which they've been working on since last year. And they want to set expectations that cars, babies, farms, and bunk beds are not part of it. Well, it sure did take us a lot of time to get us to this point, especially considering we only got better babies this year with the Infants update. But now we have 3 out of those 4 things: babies, farms, and the bunk beds, so cars stick out there, because that's still the only thing we don't have. And they were officially acknowledging that we do want cars, but something like that would take a lot of time to figure out. So I think that is another sign that we are going to get cars for The Sims 4, it's just a matter of when. It definitely would be a great way to end off this year, because last year I think was rock bottom, and the year before that wasn't too great either. But this year I think things have gotten better. It's not been perfect by a long shot, but still, I actually am getting more excited about The Sims again and playing it more often, even if I am still spending a bit more time in Create a Sim than in Live mode. So I think there is still hope for Fairies and cars, even if we don't end up getting either one of those this year. But hopefully this expansion pack will end off this year on a great note. Before wrapping up this video, I do want to mention quickly, I am also now on TikTok and Threads. So with Threads, it is the same as my Instagram handle since it's connected to that, iron_C, as in the letter Seagull. And then with TikTok, it's iron_Seagull, just spelt the normal way. Twitter is basically my Twitter alternative for now, just in case Elon Musk makes Twitter burn even more and make it actually paywalled for everyone. And with TikTok, I am trying to post some different short form content on there. Like, I might do news once in a while, but it's mainly just funny highlights and other random stuff. So feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think any of these possible hints have any merit? And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.